Dive deep into the Philippines with Avito Digital, your online multimedia magazine. We bring you Point of View. Through sit-down interviews and behind-the-scenes reflection, we explore not just the what, but the why. For your next food trip or adventure, discover the best where to eat and where to go spots with Kalad Kain. Stay informed on social trends with Say What, and find inspiration in Historia's powerful human narratives. Innovate, create, connect.
Lagi nating naririnig na ang kalusugan ay kayamanan. Pero, paano naman ang mga kababayan natin na kailangang isipin at isaalang-alang ang babayaran? Pero, paano kung sabihin ko sa inyo na may isang doktor na nagpapatunay at isinasabuhay na ang serbisyo hindi tungkol sa presyo? Ito ay para sa tao. Ngayong hapon, samahan niyo akong kilalanin ang isang viral doctor sa ating bansa. Isa sa libo-libong tao na patuloy na nagbibigay pag-asa, si Doc Russell Guadilla. This is not just a show. This is a listening space. I am Ricky and I warmly welcome you all to Avito Digital Point of View. First of all, magandang hapon po, Doc Russell. Unang-una po gusto naming magpasalamat for making time for us, Doc, no? So, galing pa po kayong rounds this afternoon and then alam po namin na in your profession, almost or talagang 24 hours on duty po kayo. So, it is such an honor to be one of those who are fortunate na marinig po ang kwento ninyo. So, Doc, to begin with, hindi naman po sikreto na kayo po ay viral po ngayon. So, napaka-viral po ninyo. Ang post po ninyo ay umabot ng libo-libong reactions, libo-libong comments, libo-libong shares. Pero, Doc, bago po tayo pumunta sa mga detalye ng kwento ninyo, I am pretty sure that our dearest viewers ay gustong makilala kung sino nga ba talaga si Doc Russell Guadilla. So, Doc, we will give you the honor to introduce po kung sino nga ba si Doc Russell.
Hello, I'm Dr. Russell Godilla. I'm an Igorot native, originally from Tuba, Benguet. So I'm a first-generation doctor in my family. So after passing the physician licensure exam, I made the decision to open my own clinic in West Rembo. So it's a community just outside Bonifacio Global City. While also working as a hemodialysis doctor and an occupational health doctor. So, ayun. My goal has always been very simple. It's to provide compassionate and accessible healthcare to those who need it most. Ayan. So, yun. Being a doctor is not just a profession para sa akin. It's more of a vocation or a calling to serve with love and humility na rin.
Okay. Doc, nabanggit po ninyo, no? You mentioned that you are a first-generation doctor, first in the family. So, you were raised in Tuba, Benguet. So, before we
Yes.
dig into the specific challenges na nakita po ninyo doon sa homeland ninyo, Doc, no? So, curious lang po kami, what was the deciding factor or more like awakening in you, Doc? Kasi sabi niyo po, ito ay hindi niyo kino-consider na profession lang. This is a vocation or a calling. So, meron po bang major turning point na nasabi niyo na one day magiging doktor ako or someday magiging doktor ako?
All right. When I was a kid, hindi ko naman talaga pinangarap to be a doctor. So, ayun. When I was in elementary, being the editor-in-chief ng aming newspaper, I wanted to be a journalist. Ayan. Pagdating ko ng high school, I wrote in my high school yearbook na I want to be a businessman like my parents. And then come college, I was lost. Hindi ko alam kung saan pupunta. And hindi ko rin alam yung reason why I ended up enrolling medical technology. And then ayun na. From there, tinuloy ko na rin siya sa medicine.
Grabe, ang background ninyo, Doc, no, napaka-diverse, napaka-different. Being an editor-in-chief, I am
Yeah.
personally interested sa background po ninyo kasi mai-share ko lang, Doc, I am also a journalism graduate and grabe yung shift sa industry na pinanggalingan nyo, which is more on writing, more on literature, and then napunta kayo sa science field. So, napakalaking jump po. And hindi ito yung usual narrative na naririnig ko na at talagang pinangarap ko maging doktor. We are a family of doctors. Ever since I was
Yeah.
a child, pangarap ko na maging doktor. So, your story is really different, Doc Russell. So, ngayon po, growing up, no, Doc, while you were conquering this journey of yours, what were the specific challenges po na na-witness ninyo sa dun po muna tayo sa homeland ninyo, which is Tuba Benguet. May mga na-witness po ba kayong gap agad sa medical care na na-e-experience ng mga Filipinos 'to?
Mm-mm. So growing up in Tuba Benguet, I saw how many of our mga kabarangays, us included, struggled with the access to healthcare. So clinics were far and would take us at least almost an hour just to see a doctor. And others, syempre living farther, had to travel really long distances just for a simple consultation and even just buying medicines. And even then, I saw how the reality that there are a lot of people who really cannot afford yung consultation and follow-ups na kasama dito. So, ayun, they would delay and avoid seeking care na lang. And I also witnessed mga families around us, even yung mga uh, kapitbahay namin who suffered quietly because of yun nga this barrier. So it was really heartbreaking. Uh, so ayun, so it's not just about yung access eh. So it's the reality na healthcare in many provinces in the Philippines and even here in the city is like a luxury, di ba? So, na dapat it's a right para sa ating lahat. So, ayun, that reality pushed me para tapusin yung medicine na course and molded me to um, how I see healthcare, kung paanong doktor ako ngayon. So, ayun, at least man lang give a change kahit sa maliit na bagay.
And Doc, napaka-disheartening ng fact na eto kasi usually nakikita lang natin sa mga documentary ng mainstream
Yeah.
network na sa mga provinces, sa mga remote areas, talagang it takes time, it takes hours para lang magkaroon sila ng access to healthcare. And then you also mentioned the reality na hindi lang naman ito tungkol sa access. It is also about na healthcare is a privilege for many of us. And ngayon, Doc, na nabanggit niyo po itong mga challenges na na-encounter ninyo sa homeland ninyo. Kayo po ngayon ay residing na in Bonifacio Global City, Doc
Yeah.
Russell. So, curious lang kami 'no, would you mind sharing with us po the story kung paano po kayo or bakit po kayo nag-migrate or nag-transfer from your homeland and then sa city? So, ano po naging kwento doon, Doc? Did it start when you were in college or right after po?
Ayun. So, I took up my pre-med in St. Louis University as medtech and finished my Doctor of Medicine dito na sa Metro in FU and RMM. So, ngayon, I currently live in BGC primarily because I want to do my specialization here in the Metro to grow in my profession dito sa capital city kasi dito yung mas maraming opportunities eh and more specialized path para sa aming mga doctors. But beyond that, kahit being here, I've come face to face with another side of yung Filipino healthcare story nga na while the city that I am living in is very urban, unlike my hometown, still many communities like West Rembo still face yung barriers na meron sa accessible healthcare. Lalo na nung nagkaroon nga ng dispute between Taguig and Makati. So, ayun, sometimes I feel caught between the two worlds, and I still dream someday to really become a successful specialist para I can serve in a bigger scale and also go back to my community to serve more in a more specialized way na. Ayan.
So, Doc, so from Benguet to BGC, what were the major adjustments that you needed to do? Kasi syempre mahirap po no, student kayo sa tinapos niyo po sa SLU and then you have to go here for your specialization. Ano-ano pong mga challenges din ang kinaharap ninyo? Kasi na-state niyo po yung mga challenges na nakita niyo po mismo sa field. Pero personally po, ano po yung mga kinailangan yung gawin for you to adjust in this new environment of yours?
Ayan. When I was in med school, dun yung mas may adjustment. Kasi honestly, I got culture shock dito sa Manila at first. And then, hindi rin ganun kanon yung tribe. Tribe as I call. Kaming mga Igorot, sometimes when I introduce myself na, yeah, ako ay Igorot, minsan yung iba nasa-shock pa rin eh. So ayun, cultural-wise, nag-adjust ako nung bagong salta here in Manila. Siyempre, andyan din yung nutrition. Kasi in Benguet, we get vegetables free from our backyard in a very cheaper price. And then dito, it's really expensive to be healthy. Isa pa, yung mode of transpo here in Manila, medyo na-shock ako na very aggressive ang mga tao. Pero in the province, di ba, laid back lang, kalma lang, ano pa ba? And siguro, isa rin yung financial, let's face it. Living in the provinces, mas affordable. Here in Manila, every move has to be paid. Ayan. So yun yung mga, for me, adjustments that I had to do being a barrio kid going to a bigger city.
Grabe, napakalaking jump nun, Doc, 'no? Pero lahat gagawin para sa pangarap, hindi lang po for
Yeah.
yourself, but for your family and sa community po na pinanggalingan ninyo. So, Doc Russell, kayo po ay isang general physician and registered medical technologist serving in 2 hemodialysis units. So, Doc, kayo po ay ini-stalk ko. So, nakita ko po ang comments and interactions ninyo sa mga nagko-comment sa mga videos ninyo, ano. So, eto Doc, ang nag-viral po kasi ay yung TikTok video ninyo depicting your bravest and boldest move na magtayo nga po ng inyong sariling clinic sa West Rembo. So, hindi po madali because you also shared in the caption ng video ninyo that you are the first doctor in the family, newly licensed, and to quote your caption, Doc, walang ipon, which is napakahirap venturing out a business or let's say hindi siya business, pero venturing out what your heart really wants to do. So, Doc, what was the major point or major factor that urged you to build your own clinic? Kanina po nabanggit ninyo na meron ngang dispute, no, coming from two different cities. And then nabanggit din ninyo na nakita niyo yung gap or meron ding kakulangan doon sa na-experience sa mga kapwa natin dito sa naninirahan sa city. So aside from that, Doc, meron po bang iba pang factor kung bakit talaga naisip niyo na kahit ang hirap, kahit parang susugal kayo, talagang magtatayo po kayo ng clinic on your own?
Ayun, before I opened the clinic, I also experienced being employed under a management, under clinic, even ER sa isang malaking hospital. And nakita ko na, ayun, very, how can I describe it? Doctors are overworked and also underpaid. Isa pa, syempre when you work under a management or a boss, medyo may quota ka. So, hindi mo na ibibigay yung tamang care, tamang time, and then enough effort to treat your patients. So, when I started my private clinic, aside from the reasons na nasabi ko kanina, it's to really have that connection sa magiging patients ko. And then, na-achieve ko naman. Kasi when I see my patients go back, na hindi na sila yung may sakit, mostly mga kasama nila is yung um, mga i-recommend nila. And I would ask them if nag-recover sila. Yes daw. And I also saw my patients, some of my patients comment on those videos na nakapag-check up na daw sa akin. And I was really, ayun, I was giving so much effort just to let them understand yung disease and the medications that I'm giving. So, it warms my heart. And yun nga, nare-remind ako kung talagang bakit ko siya inopen. Not just to serve a community, but also, um, a personal payback sa akin na at least I treat that patients very personal and very, it's hard to explain eh. May tamang word for it.
Sir Doc, it proves yung sagot nyo po during the first few questions natin kanina na
Mm.
siguro kasi ito, Doc, hindi siya trabaho para sa inyo. Para siyang
Yeah,
panata and promise to yourself as well and to your constituents, lalo sa mga pasyente pong ginagamot ninyo. So, Doc, gets kita, no? Maybe it's really hard to explain kasi
to
minsan
explain.
kapag nasa kaibuturan talaga ng puso, sobrang hirap niyang ilabas na sasabihin kasi ng iba na, "Oh, parang di naman totoo." Siyempre, you're still getting, a salary from it, nababayaran pa rin naman kayo. Pero in your case kasi, Doc, it is not the narrative, eh. Hindi siya tungkol sa pera kasi I've also, witnessed or I also view your shared post 'no, sa social media account ninyo, Doc, and paulit-ulit niyong kina-caption dun na hindi naman ito tungkol sa presyo, hindi siya tungkol sa bayad, hindi siya tungkol sa pera. It is about the service and, sharing your compassionate, service to other people, your expertise. And, Doc, matanong ko lang 'no, kasi I was browsing in your videos, yung ₱300 to ₱350 na rate ninyo, medyo may mga hindi uma-agree. Sinasabi nila na, "Doc, taasan mo naman yung to ₱500 kasi siyempre you also have your clinic." O kaya, "Doc, parang grabe naman 'yan, sobrang baba naman, bakit hindi mo i-consider na ganito ang presyo?" Ano po ang thoughts niyo about that, Doc Russell? Ano pong masasabi niyo? Kasi hanggang ngayon 'no, marami pa rin pong engagement or patuloy na nag-e-engage yung video ninyo and may mga comments talagang gano'n, eh, na sinasabi nila na parang hindi enough, lalo shine-share mo yung expertise mo sa iba. So, what are your comments po about that, Doc Russell?
I would actually agree naman sa kanila. So, it's hard ngayon kasi walang standard fees ang mga doctors na sinet ng aming associations. Kaya if you're going to scroll down sa comment sections, actually, mga specialists charge even lower. Kung makikita nyo, may mga pedia daw sila na ang charge 200, a cardio 300. So, alam mo yon, people will really have different opinions. Kasi yung root ng problem is walang nakaset na standard para hindi nagugulat yung mga patients na dapat ganito yung i-expect naming fee dahil he's a general practitioner. So, up until hindi nalulutas yung part na wala kaming standardized fee, ayan, hindi lang yung video ko ang makakapag-trigger dun sa netizens natin. It's the everyday encounter whenever they go to the clinics, to the hospitals, masashock sila kasi yung professional fee hindi nakaset. Wala silang, hindi nila mag-gauge kung maa-afford ba nila yung care or hindi when they go to private institutions. So, I don't wanna react badly dun sa mga comments kasi tama naman. Pero I'm also lost kasi, 'di ba, sinet ko na lang yung price ko to really serve the community kasi parang sabi ko at least man lang hindi gano'n ka half nung sahod ng mga regular employees or ng mga mid-range earner na mga tao. So, ibang story yung sa akin, ibang story din naman para sa mga ibang doctors. So ayun, medyo hindi naman ako nasasaktan, nasa gitna ako.
Thank you
So
for
kung ito man,
clarifying that, Doc.
yeah, thank you din. So kung ito man yung magbukas ng conversation niya para at least mapag-usapan pa yung problem na walang standardized fees para sa doctors, then mas maganda. Let the comments, let the opinions flow. Ayan.
And I actually agree, no, Doc, dun sa walang standard rates ang inyong
Mm-mm.
profession right now. Kasi sometimes, kapag nagkakasakit din, halimbawa, or family members, no, hindi mo maiwasang mag-compare din syempre sa mga clinics na bakit si Doctor
Yeah.
A ganito ang singil, bakit si Doctor B ganito. And then sometimes, people will always choose syempre yung mas mura kasi yun ang mas afford nila. And then, Doc, may
Yeah.
nabanggit po kayo about sa case ninyo and case ng iba pang doktor or ng iba pang taong nasa field ng medicine. And we have still so many questions for you, Doc Russell. Pero bago tayo pumunta sa usaping personal ni Doc Russell Guadilla, we will have a short minute break and we will be right back.
Dive deep into the Philippines with Avito Digital, your online multimedia magazine. We bring you Point of View. Through sit down interviews and behind the scenes reflection, we explore not just the what, but the why for your next food trip or adventure. Discover the best where to eat and where to go spots with Kalad Kain. Stay informed on social trends with Say What and find inspiration in Historia's powerful human narratives. Innovate, create, connect.
And we're back at the Vito Digital Point of View. So, now po, Doc, continue na po tayo sa ating mga questions, no? So, despite of being so busy with your profession, Doc Russell, kayo po ay nagko-conduct din, nabanggit po ninyo, ng medical missions, community outreach program, and health education initiatives. So, with this very busy lifestyle of yours, Doc, no, araw-araw, syempre, daan-daang kwento na rin po ang na-encounter ninyo. Pero, is there a certain story or one story po, Doc Russell, na pinakatumatak sa inyo? Puwedeng kwento po ng inyong pasyente, kwento ng mga taong nakakasalamuha ninyo sa mga medical mission ninyo, na sa tingin niyo nagpabago or at least contributed to your perspective bilang isang doktor?
As a one-man team sa clinic ko, umabot din naman ako sa point of like, parang gusto ko pa bang i-continue yung clinic? Kasi syempre as a human, na-exhaust ka din. Pero with the stories nga of patients na I have, so isi-share ko ulit, na-share ko na siya actually, yung isang instance sa na patient ko na pumunta sa clinic. So, parang third time na niyang pumunta ng clinic. But this time kasi, she initially went to the health center muna to have clearance para makapasok na siya sa work. So, she's a mom of two. Nag, and then, hindi siya nabigyan ng clearance. So, kailangan niyang pumunta sa private clinics kasi yun na lang yung choice niya. And then, nung na-assess ko siya, actually, okay naman na siya. For me, she's really fit to work. Pero the problem is, ang dala-dala niyang pera that time to pay for me is yung bayad nila sa kuryente. Ayun. So, doon talaga medyo nagulat ako na umabot siya sa point na pambayad sa kuryente ang ipambabayad niya sa akin. Kasi walang-wala na daw talaga sila. So, ayun. Dahil very strict ako sa MedSurg, nagpabayad pa rin ako ng MedCert, pero I give her a discount. And ayun, she was able to go back to work kasi daw nanganganib na yung job niya. So doon ko nakita talaga na um, you might struggle to keep the clinic alive and um, open is mas wala pa pala dun sa struggles na nafe-face ng mga patients ko. So these are the moments na yun, ginigising ako na, huy, it's not just the clinic, it's yun nga, the lives that you touch, yung impact nung ginagawa mo to the people. So, 'di ba? Hindi lang siya health nagsaspan na siya sa economical, financial, and everything. So, ayun. One of siguro most unforgettable na awakening ko recently.
Napakaganda, no, Doc. Disheartening siya kung iisipin, pero we think that it is really your prime motivation to keep your clinic alive. And for sure, sila may naiiwang aral sa'yo, Doc. And for sure, ikaw ay may naiiwan din pong aral sa kanila. So, Doc, maisingit ko lang to. Medyo malayo na tayo sa topic na to kanina kasi na-touch na natin to. Pero pumasok to sa isipan ko habang nagkukwento po kayo nung
Mm.
isang hindi malilimutan ninyong encounter sa mga naging pasyente ninyo. Minsan po ba hiniling ninyo or naisip niyo, Doc Russell, na sana nag-stay na lang kayo sa homeland ninyo, na may mga gabi ba na iniisip niyo na siyempre you're struggling right now kung paano nga ba mapapanatili yung clinic, and then you're treating the patients here in the city. So minsan ba naisip niyo na, what if sa Benguet ko siya ginawa? What if sa homeland ko siya ginawa? Meron po ba kayong mga instances na gano'n, Doc Russell?
Oo naman. May plan talaga nung kakapasa ko pa lang, magbukas ng small clinic dun sa bahay mismo namin para walang renta. Pero eventually, nung hindi ko pa siya actually pinupush, naisip ko, paano naman the future when I want to specialize? Ayan. So, meron talagang pagsisisi sometimes kasi nga, I'm not able to see my parents every day, to see them grow old. Tapos, I'm treating mga people na hindi ko katribo. Dumadaan din naman yun sa isip ko. Pero, ayun, bumabalik pa rin dun sa root na kung bakit I am here. 'Di ba? Para na rin naman sa kanila. Kasi I want to go back to my hometown to serve them better as a specialized doctor in the future.
Maraming salamat po, Doc, 'no. So ito pong susunod kong tanong ay controversial ngayon, Doc Russell.
Hmm.
Nabanggit niyo po sa isa ninyong post na ang 300 to 350 pesos ninyong singil sa inyong clinic ay hindi maituturing na hero rate dahil ayon po sa inyo, marami pang mga doktor diyan makikilala tayo ang mas mababa pa ang singil kaysa sa inyo. Hindi rin po ito sukatan o paghahambing kagaya ng sinabi ninyo kung sinong mas murang maningil, mas magaling, mas makamasa dahil ayon din po sa inyo, ang halaga ng serbisyo ng isang doktor ay hindi nasusukat sa presyo at ito ay salamin ng sakripisyo. Ngayon po, Doc, there is a commentary few days ago na nag-viral ngayon sa social media platforms. Ito po ay involve si Dr. Mon Ribu ng Philippine Heart Center. And majority of the people sharing and commenting this post, actually some of my friends who are taking medicine courses din nung college like medtech, radtech, pharmacy, meron po silang campaign na hashtag I stand with Doc Ribu. Dahil nga po itong napapag-usapan natin ay about payment, uh, what are your thoughts about the realities faced by your profession in the Philippines, Doc Russell? Kasi majority ng mga nakita kong nagkokomento ay on-side po ni Dr. Monribo talaga. And alam naman natin na libo-libo na rin ang narating ng post na to and kayo rin po ay nagbahagi na ng inyong initial reaction tungkol dito, Doc Russell. So, since this is very timely and this is relevant din po sa inyong kwento, ano po ang masasabi ninyo sa realidad na kinahaharap ng mga doktor natin sa bansa?
Ayun. So, regarding sa controversy around Dr. Mon, I think it highlights something na dapat urgent mapag-usapan as of the moment. So, it all boils down sa professional fees and yung respect sa aming mga doctors kapag nagcha-charge kami. So, sila ay ibang istorya because specialists and subspecialists have spent years honing their expertise. So, their fees actually reflect yung knowledge and yung scarcity nila sa ating healthcare community. So, unti lang sila and their services are really valuable. So, maraming mga comments na makikita sa aming mga doctors na bakit ang mga tao, they spend on gadgets, they spend on leisure, they spend on clothes without hesitation. Pero when it comes to healthcare, syempre cost is often scrutinized. Pero it's not just about money. So it's about yung value and yung well-being mo as a tao. Pero hindi ko rin sila masisisi kasi yung root problem is the healthcare system itself. So the government needs to really create fair policies that will support kaming mga healthcare workers and of course our patients. So, ayun, fees are justified and care is dapat sustainable, 'di ba? So, honestly, kung ako yung tatanungin, I can't even afford the most expensive healthcare options na meron diyan. Kung ako ma-admit ngayon, I wouldn't choose yung mga top of the line hospitals kasi I myself couldn't afford it kasi it's really expensive. And ayun, pupunta na rin ako sa part ng doctor shaming because I've seen a lot of posts. Hindi lang yung about kay Dr. Mon. Meron ding post na kumakalat ngayon about a patient ranting on a hospital in QC. And syempre, sa comments tinitignan ko, nakaka-dishearten yung doctor shaming. 'Di ba? So, doctor shaming online has become very common na recently and it's very painful sa amin kasi we are just humans as well. We get tired, we get overwhelmed, and sometimes um we make mistakes sa totoo lang. Pero hindi naman lagi kasi talagang mabusisi naman kami diyan. But in the Philippines nga, where doctors to patient ratio is a problem and healthcare workers are overworked and underpaid, expecting na perfect yung healthcare natin is very unrealistic. So I hope people online or outside the online community will also have compassion to our healthcare workers, not only doctors, to our nurses, to our aides. Ayun, kasi we forget that doctors and healthcare workers are also human and it creates a toxic cycle kung saan wala namang nananalo sa both sides. Patients and doctors are both talo. So we need empathy sa both sides and we should urge our government to have reforms to fix yung broken cycle natin. And then I will also relate this in my case kasi iba naman yung case ko kasi I don't offer specialized care. I don't offer procedures kasi yun talaga mahal kasi yun. And ako, considering yung price na posted online, deserve naman talaga yon ng mga specialized doctors natin, lalo na yung mga gumagawa ng procedures. And sa akin, I give an affordable rate sa consultation fee ko because it's deeply rooted sa aking personal na advocacy and vocation. Also, kasama na dyan yung demographics and location ng area. Kaya hindi siya comparable. It's a different story. Ayun. Maraming salamat.
So, Doc, these are very realistic points of yours sa issue ngayon surrounding our doctors here in the Philippines. And one good point that I have learned this afternoon is that we need to remember pa rin na ang mga doktor ay mga tao lang din kagaya natin. Kasi
Yes.
sometimes, di ba, we expect din na hindi dapat kayo magkamali kasi you are the instrument kung bakit naduduktungan ng buhay ng isang tao, isang pagkakamali lang, and then tapos na lahat. Pero we have to remember that your profession also get exhausted at times, especially with the labor that you're having every day. And ngayon, Doc, actually may susunod akong tanong, pero nabanggit niyo po ito sa naging sagot ninyo na hopes ninyo for the medical industry in the Philippines. So, we're down to the last question, Doc Russell. Pero ito po ay lagi ko ring itinatanong sa mga taong nai-interview ko because I want to understand their point of view. I want to hear their point of view. Um, First po, Doc Russell, what is your message for your fellow doctors, even nurses, or other medical personnels right now po?
Sige. Before I give them the message, I also want to share a message muna din sa ating mga tao din na um, we are expected to have compassion, diba? As doctors, as healthcare workers. And sometimes, syempre, compassion is really a beautiful thing. And it can also get exploited. And sometimes people think na and expect na kaming mga doctors should give everything for free or low cost because it's our calling. Pero hindi rin yun sustainable. So, I hope yun nga, the doctors and our healthcare workers be given the respect and the value na we also need. Ayan. So, to my fellow doctors and healthcare workers, I hope to for us to hold on to that passion and to that compassion kahit na minsan na-exploit tayo sa part na yon. And let us not forget pa rin to protect ourselves. Compassion is very powerful, but it can be exploited. So we really have to set boundaries and care for your own health too. Ayan. Maraming salamat sa inyong service and I hope na maprotektahan din tayo ng our government, ma-investan tayo, and then para maging mas accessible, sustainable din yung healthcare for everyone. So keep going mga doc and ating mga kunars and ating mga healthcare workers. All the love, respect para sa ating lahat. Maraming salamat sa inyong service.
Thank you po, Doc. So, eto last na talaga 'to, Doc. Medyo follow-up lang dito sa message ninyo. Being a student before and for sure up until now you're still studying naman, Doc, ano, for sure you encountered challenges, especially noong nag-transfer kayo from your homeland, from the province to the city. Hindi natin masyadong na-tackle yung naging journey ninyo bilang isang estudyante. So, ngayon, Doc, gusto kong i-take ang opportunity na 'to. Marami dito sa bansa natin ang gusto maging doktor. Honestly, Doc, nabanggit ko kanina that I am a journalism graduate, pero pinangarap ko din baliktad tayo, Doc. Pinangarap ko po noon na maging isang doktor. Actually, I want to be a cardiologist, pero it is, it is at the end of the day, it is practicality over passion. It is practicality over dreams. So,
Yeah.
ngayon po, meron po ba kayong message for those who are aspiring to be in the medical field? Dahil alam natin ngayon, nakita na natin yung reality na hindi biro. Once you enter this industry, hindi lang sarili mo yung binibigay mo. You're also giving your soul. You're giving a part of you in it. So, ngayon na napapanood siguro 'to ng mga aspiring na doktor, na nurse, ng iba pang healthcare workers, sa mga students, what is your message for them, Doc Russell? Malay natin ma-motivate sila lalo to keep them going po.
Okay. Um, to all aspiring doctors out there, it's never too late naman eh. Kahit ikaw, ma'am, pwede pa rin. So, hold on to that dream. Kasi when you hold on to that dream or to that goal or to that vision, kung hindi mo man dream ang pagiging isang doctor, when you have a goal or a vision and you strive hard for it, there's no impossible naman. Ako, I am not hindi ako top sa aming class when I entered med school. I also had the hard time. Every quiz, ayan, talagang anxiety ang labas niyan. Every exam, mabilis ang tibok ng puso. Pero, you know, iba kasi yung pag nawala ka sa earth and you have an impact, it fuels your drive to strive more and to hold on to that vision or goal. So, minsan kasi kung makikita mo online ang ating mga doctors, um, maraming mga nag-a-ask kung worth it pa rin daw to take up medicine. Hati naman ang opinions diyan. Maraming nagdi-discourage kasi nga doon um, sa ating reality sa aming mga healthcare workers. Pero we need more doctors, we need more people who will care for our future generation. So, ayun. Umanib na kayo. Ilaban nyo lang po yan.
Ang powerful naman ang message, Doc. Nakaka-motivate po, Doc Russell. So, Doc, that is our last question for this episode. Before we end this one, siguro I'll also share what I have learned po sa inyo throughout. So, while listening sa mga kwento ninyo, sa challenges na kinaharap ninyo up until ngayon, no po, sa inyong clinic, the stories or the encounters na mayroon kayo with your patients, mga taong natulungan ninyo. So, the bottom line was the first line na pinakatumatak sa akin kanina, na itong trabahong ito, and siguro hindi lang ito, hindi lang ang pagiging doktor. Sometimes we have to treat it not as a job, not as a
Yeah.
work, not as a profession, but more on a calling. Minsan naririnig natin, eto Doc, for sure, siguro baka naririnig mo noon dahil ikaw ay naging editor-in-chief noon ng inyong school paper na hindi ka naman papakain ng passion mo. Pero
Yes.
this one,
Totoo.
it proves na, yes, maybe there are jobs na hindi tayo mapapakain ng passion natin, pero we can leave a lasting impact for other people. And that impact, it can live forever. And for sure, Dok, ang kwento po ninyo, hindi lang kasi siya natatapos, Dok, na kayo po ay viral. For sure, kakibat ng mga thousands of reactions, thousands of comments, thousands of shares, ay yung mga lessons din na naiwan ninyo at ang impact or influence na naiwan ninyo sa mga taong natulungan ninyo. And Doc Russell Guadilla from Avito Digital, maraming salamat po sa
Thank you
pagpapaunlak
very
sa amin kahit
much.
napaka-busy niyo po, Doc. Alam po namin na aside sa clinic ninyo, marami po kayong ganap ngayon sa buhay ninyo, and kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina, we are very fortunate na mapabilang doon sa listahan ng mga taong naibahagi ninyo yung kwento ninyo. And siguro, Doc, one wish from us, ah siguro hindi na namin masusubaybayan ang kwento ninyo, Doc, pero we are wishing your clinic the very best. Alam po
Marami
namin na
pong
yung clinic
salamat.
ninyo ay hindi lang clinic, hindi lang pasilidad. It is an avenue for people to be better, to hope for another life, and to have a lasting life. So, maraming salamat po, Doc Russell Guadilla. Thank you very
Maraming
much po.
salamat din po.
Sa naging usapan natin ngayong hapon, siguro dapat din nating tanungin ang ating mga sarili. Kinikilala at nirerespeto nga ba natin ang kanilang husay sa larangan? At ang katotohanan na sila ang instrumento para ang buhay ay maduktungan. Sa bansang demokratiko, laging may sakripisyo. Kagaya nga ng sabi ni Doc Russell Guadilla, ito ay hindi lang kwento niya. Ito ay kwento rin ng mga kapwa niya doktor, nurse, at iba pang tao na nasa larangan ng medisina. Muli, this is a Vito Digital Point of View. Magkita-kita tayo sa susunod na Biyernes, and we are here for Voices that Lead, Stories that Inspire.